Oh, okay. There we go. I think I've got this. Whew. Well, I don't really know what to say other than I'm apparently here by myself. I guess it's only a matter of time before I get people coming in. Yay. So, I'm not sure what to do. I don't really like talking to myself too much. Talk, 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 talk. Well, I guess for now I can BS about what's going on with the National Football League's playoffs right now until somebody else comes in. Oh, I see here. Yeah, no one's watching. Oh, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. Oh, there's one eyeball. I guess one set of eyeballs, to be more precise. Hello. Welcome to the experiment. Oh, it's Michael! Bonjour, Michael! Am I saying that right? Is it Michael or is it some other pronunciation? Because there's no A in your name, so I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. But welcome, brother. Welcome. Okay. So, since you're the old... Oh, Michelle? Oh, okay, I see. I see. Yeah, I've heard it pronounced like that with like the Germans and the French, I believe. So, well, actually, the French would make sense since you're saying bonjour a lot. So, all right. So, yeah, French thing, awesome, cool. One of the best things about the internet is reaching out and meeting people of other cultures, isn't it? All right. So, since you're here, and apparently alone, I will leave where we go from here entirely up to you. Do you want me to share a news story involving a former professional wrestler or an article about how for women who have cats? Assuming Susan isn't censoring us. Well said. John G, welcome, brother. How's it going? Salute to you too. Oh, by the way, as a heads up, I am kind of getting a little over a cold right now, so you might occasionally hear me go from time to time. Oh, wow, that actually really helped a lot. So, yeah, should we talk about a former professional wrestler or the article? Well, let's go ahead and go with the wrestler then. Michelle. Hey, JR, what's up, buddy? Thank you for coming to the experiment. I'm doing this right. I think it's this button. Is that the one? I don't even know. Can you guys see this? Okay. Or guys, suits, they're hugging and I'm here on the left, like there's cry. You guys see that? Okay. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. Maybe it's this one that I want. Picture-in-picture layout. Yeah, maybe that's the one. All right, well, I guess what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and read it for now. I see a whiskey glass. Okay. What about now? Can you see the article okay? Or the picture? Maybe it's this one that I want. Cinema layout. Yeah, I couldn't find any sort of thing involving like instructions on how to do this kind of crap, so maybe I should look around on YouTube to see if I can find more. Get in touch with Hamster. He'll help you with StreamYards. That's actually not a bad idea. He's actually the guy who convinced me to use StreamYards for this kind of thing, so maybe I should reach out to James. So I think what I'll do is this is done. I'll post a link to the article itself. It was posted last week, Tuesday, apparently. And it starts off by saying WWE legend Kevin Nash recently commented on the 3-month anniversary of his son's death. Now, for those of you who are not into wrestling, Kevin Nash, he got his big break in the WWF back in like 93, 94, somewhere around there. He held the world title for almost a full year before losing it to Bret Hart. He's like 7'2" or something like that. He's one of the big guys. He jumped ship to World Championship Wrestling, where he went by his real name, Kevin Nash. He won the WCW Championship like 4 times or some bullshit like that. The article itself is kind of short, but with what the content of it is, I feel that that's the point of what I wanted to talk with you guys. No video, just the shot glass. Damn. Well, maybe I need to push that. Is this upgrade? Oh, okay. Apparently what I want to do, I have to upgrade this. This is the very basic package, so I can't really do a whole lot. So, yeah. Maybe I should pay for a membership with this thing here soon. Kevin Nash as the Russian in The Punisher. I think so. To be honest, I don't really remember The Punisher all too much. As far as his acting career went, I know that he was in the second Ninja Turtle movie that was done in the 90s. He was briefly in it as the guy who played Super Shredder. He's been a couple of other things too, but I can't really think of anything. So the article itself says, Nash revealed that he's in a really tough emotional state at the moment. His comments about this situation on the Click This podcast made it sound like he's having suicidal thoughts. And here's a quote from him. Today is week 12 that I lost my boy, Nash said. Which, by the way, I don't remember if the article says this or not, but his son passed away a few months ago from car arrest. Make of that what you will. Time flies when you got a gun in your mouth. I mean, time flies when you're having fun. So he has a co-host named Sean Oliver. Don't play like that, Oliver told Nash. You have guns, so you can't say those things. This led to another concerning comment from Nash. I can do whatever the F I want to do, long as I leave a note. Then the text, or not text messages, tweets made by fans showing support for Kev. Oh, yeah, here we are. The very bottom of the article. Nash, who is 63, lost his son at the young age of 26. He passed away after suffering a seizure and going into cardiac arrest. Hopefully, Nash has the right support system around him. Sorry, a little bit more of the congestion coming back. So that's kind of where I wanted to go with the article. That very last sentence is the thing about the right support system. We guys know damn good and well that a lot of us don't have such a support system, and that's why the whole gun in the mouth idea doesn't sound like that bad of an idea for some of us. If you guys could see what I'm looking at for this, I mentioned that there's 4 guys who are in suits. They're kind of doing like this group hug kind of thing. Specifically in the picture, Kevin is hugging another wrestler, goes by the name of Shawn Michaels, which, for those of you who aren't into wrestling, in real life, Shawn left the business a little over 20 years ago, mostly because of him fucking up his back, and he was constantly struggling with drugs and other debauchery things, but it's mostly the drugs that he was having problems with that made him leave the business. And he came back about 5 years later because he got right with God. He dedicated his life to Christ. He accepted him as his savior. And and his entire life had turned around. In fact, that was kind of a gimmick add-on that they had done for Sean when he was wrestling for 8 years or something like that after he came back. I know this is going to sound kind of lame, but I really think that Shawn Michaels might be Kevin's best bet. You know, these two definitely were brothers, very good friends. And I'm not saying that other friends of his wouldn't want to help him out. I mean, in the picture, there's two other guys who are in this group of friends. There's Triple H, whose real name is Paul, I want to say Levesque, and another guy he's had many names throughout his career, but X-Pac is probably his most famous name. You know, they're friends, but as far as what Kevin is going through, I truly believe that Shawn is really his only possible help with this type of a thing. I'm not saying that I think that Kevin necessarily needs God, but I do think that he needs someone who is strong enough in his convictions, has enough of a positive view on life, and you know, that kind of thing to be able to help him out with this funk. I mean, it's possible Kevin could get out of it on his own, but considering the words that he's been saying, seems kind of fucking scary. You know, he needs that support, and Shawn is probably his best bet, I would have to say. So it's my opinion on that particular argument. Michelle, we are that support system. Oh, my brothers. Wait, hold on. Show. Is this? Oh, that's how we do that. Okay. Yes, Michelle, that is very true. We are that support system. Anytime one of us is having a crisis, a need, we should be the ones, well, not should be, we are the ones who are there to help each other out. And thank God for it. I genuinely love you guys, and I've seen plenty of examples of us reaching out, talking with people, lifting each other up. I mean, Hammerhand, he's definitely known for that. Terrence Pop, if you guys watch his content, he does it too. In fact, he's got like this counting chart thing, at least last I knew he did, where he had like over 500 guys who had confirmed that he helped them not go the route that Kevin Nash is hinting at possibly going. Okay. Well, the next thing I wanted to do, I don't think I'm going to be able to do because you guys can't see my screen. So maybe I'll save that for another time after I converse with James. But I'll go ahead and tell you basically what it was. See, the last few weeks, I have signed up for a class at the college that I work at, which for those of you who don't know, I am a college custodian. I am paid to clean toilets, among other things. And one of my benefits is I can take as many classes as I fucking want to, and I only have to pay $5 total. I mean, unless it's a class that has like an additional fee to it. Like the class that I signed up for has an extra $750. So I had to pay $12.50 for a class that would cost normal students something close to $500. It's great. I love it. And what the class is what's exact? I believe the exact name is graphic novel writing. So basically, I'm learning how to write the scripts for comics. And the main reason why I'm doing this is because there's a novel that I've been wanting to write for a few years now. And I'd say over the last 6 months or so, I've been kind of toying with the idea of making it into a graphic novel instead, mainly because there's certain things that happen in the first chapter that I'm really having a hard time putting down into words. It's like I need pictures in order to show what's going on. That's really awesome. Thank you, JR. Thank you. I think it's pretty awesome too. So I'm kind of toying around with the idea with that, and that's what this class is. And I wanted to show you guys one of the comics that we had to read as an assignment. It's called Giant Days, and it's basically about 3 girls who go to a British university. And it's okay as a comic. It's not really something that I would want to read as like a regular thing. But it's not bad. It's certainly better than most of the other shit we've had to read so far. But yeah, so I guess we'll just go ahead and save that for later. I do have some stories that have been going on in my personal life. Well, not so much my personal life. They actually relate to people who who I'm connected to. I haven't been in school since 85. I'm an old fuck. Well, you know what, Michelle? I turned 3 in 85, so... Oh, wow. I feel kind of old from that, and yet here you are. You're a hell of a lot older than me. So, but hey, you know what? I still love you. You're a brother. Age means nothing here. So, the 3 stories, and I'll go ahead and I'll let you guys pick which one you guys want to hear as well for this. I have a coworker who not too long ago had a romantic relationship with a single mother. The woman who I turned into a single mother, my ex, just recently had a pregnancy scare. And my dad, who seems to be the one who understands the MGTOW philosophy the least, has been talking to me about possibly getting a divorce from his 3rd wife. So I'll go ahead and let you guys pick which one of these stories you guys think would be the most interesting one to share. And hell, who knows? Maybe I'll share all 3. I think I should have the time. I mean, I've only been here for like, what, 20 minutes? Sorry, I'm taking a little snack right now. I read all the Walking Dead books. It was good up until they decided to turn everyone gay. I had no idea about that. But then again, I've never read any of the Walking Dead books. The closest that I did was my coworker, the one who I mentioned who just ended a relationship with a single mother. He's really into comics. He's trying to collect all the Walking Dead's, the original prints, and he told me that he's got every single one except the first. And apparently on eBay, they're going for like thousands of dollars. Good luck with that, my friend. But I've seen a couple of pages here and there, and looks pretty cool. I'm not a huge zombie guy, but it looks pretty good. Yes, Michelle. My father is in his 3rd marriage. I don't know if he'll ever learn. Well, you know what? I think I'll go ahead and I'll share that story. So a little bit of backstory. His first wife was my mom. They separated before I turned 1, and the divorce was finalized when I was about 2.5. Since then, you know, he's had to pay child support for me and my older sister, because those 2 were his. All the meanwhile, my mom would be hooking up with guys left and right. And, you know, my dad would be hooking up with women too, but he wouldn't be marrying them just after meeting them at a bar, which was the case with my mom's 3rd and 4th husbands. Husband number 2 was a family friend, but he was also black, which nobody in the family really supported that. They're like, well, we don't hate black people, but we just think that the races shouldn't mingle like that. And it's like, okay, whatever. She ended up moving us all the way down to the Kansas City area, which for those of you who don't know, we live in the Portland, Oregon area. So it was quite a bit of a distance. My dad didn't see us for almost a whole year, but yet still had to pay child support. It's fucking bullshit. He didn't have a place of his own until I was like 14 or 15 years old. And I'd say about 6 years after that, he married wife number 2, which she seemed like an okay gal until after they got married. That's when she was more trying to act like she was still a college age girl. She wanted to go to the bars. She wanted to drink. She wanted to flash her tits to get free drinks, which, by the way, I haven't seen her tits, but based off of how she was shaped, I would imagine that they're probably not that impressive. She didn't really look like she was anything more than a B cup, which I know sometimes a B cup set can be pretty nice, but oftentimes they're not, especially when you're talking about a woman who's pushing 50. But that marriage did not last for very long, and it's mainly for that. She was constantly consuming alcohol. She was constantly wanting to party. My dad thinks that she may have been cheating on him while they were still married. Nothing definitive, though. He met his third wife about 4 or 5 years ago, also at a bar. But in my dad's defense, he's one of those guys who plays in local bands. And that's kind of where he's usually at. If he, at least at the time, if he wasn't at work, he was usually doing band related stuff. Rusty Rivers, Puniti, what's up, brother? Sharing a story about my dad. So he's talking with this gal, and they hit it off pretty well. She apparently hadn't been in a relationship at all for like 15, 20 years, some bullshit like that. And it's because her first husband, according to her, ran away and abandoned her and their baby boy. And I'm putting a big emphasis on baby boy because he's unfortunately one of those stereotypical kids who's about 20, maybe 23, somewhere in that ballpark area. He's fat, he's lazy, he does nothing but play on his computer, doing video games, all that kind of stuff. No motivation at all. Oh, hey, look at that. Yeah. Go Shura. Thank you for speaking up on my behalf. Leave a like, everyone. Thank you. I mean, he's a nice kid, don't get me wrong. But no ambition in life. So he married her about 4 years ago, something like that. Actually a pretty nice wedding. They tried to having it be somewhat Scottish themed, because my family is very heavily Scottish in terms of our bloodline, in terms of what we're proud of. I've got a lot of English in me too, but I'm not exactly proud of that one. But like the first couple of years, he's giving me crap about, when are you going to get married? You've never been married. I know you got close, but you never did. It's like, I don't want to get married. I've made a decision in my life. They're not worth the hassle. My stepmom, oh my gosh, she flipped her lid when she found out, not so much that I didn't want to get married, but, well, I mean, this is what led her to flip out, was when she heard me say this. It was more of, don't you want to be with a strong and independent woman? And I'm like, oh, hell no. If I ever did hate myself enough to want to get married, I'd want it to be with a woman who's somewhat submissive, not someone who's going to be combative. I do not need to marry a dude with tits. No, thank you. Oh, she did not like that. I didn't word it like that, but that was the basic emphasis of what I was saying. But I'd say over the past year or so, my dad has been kind of talking a little bit about how he's contemplating the idea of getting a divorce. And it's not so much that she's necessarily a bad wife. I mean, compared to his first two, this woman's a gem. She nags about the dumbest of shit. Like, he could be doing, this actually happened. He could be doing the dishes, cleaning them up the way that she's instructed him on how to do it, because God forbid a man who's 20 years older than her has no idea how to do dishes. Oh, yeah, that's kind of another thing. My dad just turned 65, and she's like 48, 49, something like that. She's closer to me in age than him. But he could put like a glass in a certain spot in their glass counter, and she'll nag at him. It's supposed to be on the shelf underneath it, right next to this one right here, because that's how I like it, and it's got to be like how I like it, or else I'm gonna be like all the time. Oh, hey, look at that. RP Pope is here. Good morning, brother. Well, I guess good afternoon. Who is this shot of whiskey guy? That is me. I don't know how else to put it. Just a fellow MGTOW sharing a little bit of my own personal suffering, or in this case, my dad's personal suffering. Fuck, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so just recently I sold a car. Which, for those of you guys who've been on my channel long enough, you may have seen that one video where I made a reference to it. I got into a car wreck back in October. Yes, it was completely my fault. I was being fucking stupid. Not on purpose, obviously, but I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with being stupid sometimes. But so anyways, I sold the car to someone who likes to tinker around, fix up cars, all that kind of fun shit. So I only got $300 out of it. But we ended up going up into the hills here in Southwest Washington in a town called Kalama. Pretty small area. Its population is barely over 1,000. In fact, I'm sure you guys have heard of this. The Twilight movies. Even though the storyline is supposed to take place in the town of Forks, at least as I understand it, it was filmed in Kalama. So I was basically walking around in the same area where that shit franchise was filmed. But really pretty scenery. It's really gorgeous in there. Despite it being the winter season. I mean, it's just phenomenal during the summertime. Absolutely stunning. My dad, he just recently retired. He wants to move up to a place like that. And since it's actually the property we were at was actually owned by my uncle, his brother, there's a realistic possibility that that move could happen. But insert picture of an ass. He was pointing out how there's no way that his wife would go for it. She would just complain all the time that they're nowhere near a city, and she's a city girl. I mean, she was born and raised in Chicago. She's used to being around skyscrapers and hordes of people. So the idea of being in a small town like Kalama, Washington, apparently frightens her enough to where she would be against the idea. And it's like, you know what, Dad? If you were single, you wouldn't have to give a crap what a woman thinks. Least of all the one that you're legally bound to. So divorce is something that my dad is thinking about. Now, as I understand the laws here in Washington, if they were to get a divorce or an annulment, he would not have to pay alimony. I have no idea how much it would fuck up his retirement plan. I think a lot of that would depend on what's been determined in the courts, to be entirely honest. Well, I don't know. I think he probably could have to pay alimony. Because my mom, so my mom has had 5 husbands. The last guy, they weren't even married to each other for a full year before she filed for divorce. And she was actually given the opportunity, do you want to pursue alimony from him? And she flat out refused it. Ghost Shura, wrenches, please. I don't know how to do that, Ghost. I'm sorry. How do you go about doing that? Is it under setting, maybe? Okay, no, that's not it. That is not it. Is it the star, maybe? Did that do it? Ghost, do you have a star? Or a star. Do you have a wrench now? I don't know. I don't know if I even click on the name of the person. Yeah, it's just giving me the opportunity to have you guys have your thing come up. Maybe click on the name of the person. I'm trying to click on the name of the person. Is it? No, that's definitely not it. Wait, hold on. Is that it? Oh, no, that's to put someone in timeout. How do I do that? Okay, so apparently putting in a star didn't do jack shit. Ghost knows. Okay. Well, I'm listening, Ghost. I don't know. No. But that's pretty much how I'm feeling about this right now. Then it'll give options. Yeah, I'm seeing the options to put people in timeout and to block them, but I see nothing about wrenches. Is it possible that it's because I've got just the basic haven't paid a cent option with Streamlabs? Could that be it? Like maybe I have to pay for a membership first and then I can be able to hand out wrenches? Is that possible? I don't know. I gotta learn what whiskey is trying to find out. We're all suffering together. Okay, so Pope is saying that that's not it. No, that's also not it. See, because it's like as soon as I highlight you guys to try to click on the name, it like does this whole graying effect, and it says, you know, plus for show, or there's those three little dots that are stacked on top of each other, and it's quite literally just saying put user in timeout or block user. Yes, JR, that is very true. Tech stuff is an MFer. So, oh, hey, thank you, Michelle, sending Hamster an email to get him here. Good Lord, I could definitely use that. Let's see here. I don't think that's that. No, I think that refers to me. Yeah, go to your... Oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense, Pope. Thank you. Let's do that. Video clips. Let's see here. Gone with John is broadcasting now. Do I go to library? No. I don't know what I'm doing. Hamster appear! What do hamsters like to eat anyway? Hamster, I summon you with a bottle of scotch. No, oh, what the hell is this? Sorry, I just got an interesting text message. Oh, fuck it. Never mind. It's spam. Hamster chow. I got pellets. No, I don't. I actually don't. Oh, hey, look at this. I just text Gone with John, Bandit, and True Blood. Man, Rusty's coming up with all sorts of contacts, doesn't he? Let's see here. Your videos. Oh, it might be in here. Probably not. Nope. No reference whatsoever. Oh, maybe it's under here. Live. Hey, here we go. Is this it? Oh, I think this is it. I think Pope was onto something. Okay, so Is that it? Remove, put in timeout. Is it add moderator that I'm looking for? Hamsters will eat their babies sometimes. You know, I can actually believe it. Many years ago, one of my sisters had she had a cat who had a litter. In fact, it was the very first litter we ever had in the household. And I literally watched her eat 2 of her 4 babies because they were deformed. They didn't come out quite right. We had to save the other 2, which they seemed to be okay. In fact, one of them ended up growing up. She lived like 13, 14 years afterwards. Oh, Gone with John. Good afternoon. How's it going? So I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. People are asking for wrenches. I think I may have figured it out. I'm on YouTube Studio. There's a list of like 7 or 8 different things I can do to people. And the last one is add moderator. Is that what I do to hand out wrenches? I don't know. Yes. Woohoo! Okay, I think I just wrenched. Yep, Michelle has a wrench. JR has a wrench. I am going to be Oprah. Ghost Shora has a wrench. Rusty Rivers has a wrench. Okay, you're kind of in the way. There we go. Rusty. Gone with John. You get a wrench. John G, you get a wrench. Where is the Pope? There's the Pope. RP Pope gets a wrench. Did I leave anyone out? Is there anybody else who wants a wrench that I haven't wrenched up yet? Holy crap. Yorkshire MGTOW. Hello, brother. Haven't seen you in a while. Would you like a wrench too? I'm hanging these things out like candy. Oh, hey, cubing speed. I think I've seen you around a couple of times. How's it going? Why are you... Oh, there we go. I was pushing the right button instead of the left. Sorry, I've got one of those stupid, annoying, flat panel things on my laptop going on. There we go. There we go. Yorkshire cubing, you guys are both wrenched up. Green Lord. Hello. No thanks, but all sub, brother. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, no thanks. I'm assuming the thanks is to the wrench. So, that's all right. I will not wrench you if you do not want it. Alrighty. So, now, I guess the only other thing I got to figure out is how am I going to show you guys stuff that I want to show you guys? You know, there was that article that I shared earlier for us here about the wrestler Kevin Nash. It'd be so much easier if you guys could see what I'm looking at too. Like the only other thing that I need help with, as far as I am aware, is the only other thing I need help with. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that the title, Testing My Streaming Knowledge, I think I failed the test. Mark Ryan, click present, and then it lets you select which tab. I do not see a present. I already have wrenches coming out of my ears. Well, now you got a couple coming out of your nose, buddy. Oh, by the way, Mark, would you like a wrench, or are you good? Let's see here. You said something about, is that this? No, it's a highlight video. It's stream marker, share. Present button on the bottom row. Oh yeah, that's this stuff here. Well, that's the thing. I actually clicked on one and it didn't seem to have done much of anything, unless that's it. So, yes, Rusty, I got Mark Ryan in here somehow. Yeah. Which is, of course, appreciated. Oh, where's Snake? I have no idea. I'm assuming you're referring to Mr. Pliskin. Then you have to add it to stream. I don't know what that means, to be honest. So I saw John was live and he was on your stream. Oh, okay. See, I thought he was streaming right now. Okay. All right, so I got that set up. Is that... Then you have to add it to stream. I don't know what that means. Oh, is that this? It's easier with 2 monitors. Screen sharing works best on a good computer. This might not be fun. Okay. Oh, I see. I think. Entire screen window. Why is it not? I don't think it's letting me. Oh, that would explain why. Okay, I need to actually physically pick it. Sharing your screen and audio. Ooh, I think I did it. Can you guys see the article now? Sports World legendary W star today. Yes, woohoo! Thank you, Mark. Okay, so I'll go ahead and you guys the picture. Tall guy, right? Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, the guy who I see to talk about suicides. So, that finally being worked out. There we go. Is the sound back? I think I fixed this. Yeah, it looks like I did. Okay. I'm going to assume that I did. You guys let me know if... Oh, hey, look at that. Brandon Trueblood is in the house. What up, friend? Brother. You want a wrench? You want a wrench, Brandon? While that's going on, Ghost Shura, which WWE star is hurting? That's this call here on the left. Kevin Nash. The guy he's hugging is the guy that I mentioned earlier, who might be his best bet for having a good brotherly talk, Shawn Michaels. So, yeah, Kevin's the one here on the far left. So, and for those of you who are kind of curious, this guy right here, the third one, Triple H, he married the CEO's daughter back in the 90s. So now he's like one of the top executive people or some bullshit like that. Honestly, I haven't really been following wrestling for like a good year and a half. So I don't know. But let's see here. Yeah, I think I hit the mute button by accident while I was in the process of trying to get a screen up here. But you guys can hear me now, okay, right? You figured this shit out pretty quick. Now you're all set. No, I didn't figure Jack out. You guys helped me out. We cheated on the test. But no, seriously, thank you, Mark. Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for helping me out with this. Now, the really big question is the next time if I stream, will I remember this stuff? Yep. So I think I'll go ahead and I'll share. Let's go ahead and share the PMS article. So this came out about 4 years ago. It's taking its time. There we go. Having PMS, you can't make it. Explains the crazy cat as shown in The Simpsons. Do they ever give her a name, or is she just the crazy cat? I've only seen like they ever referred to as. Funny shit. So a new study can answer why some cat ladies are commonly portrayed as crazy, at least in the internet. Oh no, we've had that view of them before the internet was a thing. Moreover, researchers suggest that cats may be causing severe symptoms of PMS in women. Researchers discovered that Toxoplasma gondii, I'm assuming that's how that's pronounced, a parasite commonly found in the feces of cats. Cat actually worsens the symptoms of PMS. PMS usually happens 1 to 2 weeks prior to the start of monthly bleeding. Other possible causes of heightened symptoms include hormones, neurotransmitters problems, and hormones. More than 100 individuals suffering from PDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, oh God, that sounds like a nightmare, were examined in the study, revealing that 7% were infected with the gondii. PTT is the condition wherein women show excessive irritability, tension, and depression. Notice it says excessive as opposed to normal irritability. Similarly, people with T. gondii infection also feel anxiety, depression, fatigue, headaches, muscle pain, and may show aggression and difficulty in concentrating. Oh, dear God, this is sounding more and more like my ex all the time. The researchers observed that those who tested positive showed worse symptoms of PMS than those who do not have the infection. They added that only a few of those who were infected manifested concentration problems, while majority reported that they feel out of control and overwhelmed. Good God, if I had $1 for every time I've heard a woman say something to that effect. Results. Oh, this is quoted. Results of this first study on the association of T. gondii infection and clinical characteristics of premenstrual dysphoric disorder suggest that this infection might be linked to some symptoms of this disorder. Researchers from Juarez University of Durango State, Mexico said. So this took place in Mexico. Juarez University, Durango State. My knowledge of Mexican geography is kind of weak, so I have no idea where the hell Durango is. I know where Chihuahua is. That's about it. Despite these, researchers clarified that abandoning pet cats is not the solution. Well, no shit. It's not the animal's fault. Instead, female cat owners are advised to wear gloves during litter box cleanup. That should be obvious. And thoroughly wash hands after. That should also be freaking obvious. If you have to do that when you take your own turn on the toilet, why wouldn't you do that when you're cleaning up after your cat poop? Does that seriously need to be explained? Well, yeah, obviously it does. It is also advised to clean fresh vegetables and fruits from possibly contaminated soil and avoid eating undercooked meat. So, in other words, don't be stupid and you won't turn out like her. You'll be less likely to turn out like her. Maybe. Look at the one there in their pocket. It almost looks like he's about as drugged out as she is. Oh, where was... Oh, yeah. Owners of feline companions may visit a doctor for a simple blood test that will diagnose the presence of the parasites. The study was published in the Journal of Clinical Medicine Research. So, that was fun. Written by someone named Dane Lorica. So, it could be a dude, could be a chick. I have no idea. Oh, this is interesting. PMS is mostly a fraud. It's used as an excuse. So even the majority of women will pretend they have PMS. You know, the funny thing about that is I've been saying that for years. Growing up with my mom and my three sisters, I don't think they ever once had any case of PMS that was anywhere near as bad as people make it out to be. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say with my older sister, but that's mainly because she was pretty much always a bitch. I don't think my sister mellowed out until after she had her first kid. And I think that's mainly because reality kicked her ass. Let's see, moving on, more from Michelle. My mother used it specifically to make others suffer, but in unguarded moments, I realized she was making it up. Yeah, that seems to be the norm for the ladies, is making things up. At least I would say so. Alrighty, so do you guys want to hear another story? Or do you guys want me to cover the comic that I had to read that's, as a whole, not too bad, but it's still feminist garbage? It's probably the most tolerable feminist garbage I've been exposed to in a couple years. But the other two stories that I have, for those of you who just recently joined here, one of my coworkers just recently ended a relationship with a single mother. And my ex, not too long ago, had a pregnancy scare. So there's those two stories. There's the comic. What sounds good? Sounds good in the hood. This is actually kind of neat. You guys are seeing what I'm seeing, and it's got that whole smaller effect, and then even smaller effect, and even smaller effect. Ghost Shura story. Okay, which one? The one about my coworker or about my ex? Cheers to his freedom. Amen to that. Cheers to freedom. Definitely agree with you on that one. Well, I think here we go. Dude, my coworker had a 7-year marriage fail. Yeah, it's, sometimes you can't help but feel bad for the situation. So I think with that, I'll go ahead and share the story about my coworker. Sounds like Goshura is agreeing. Coworker. All right, so this guy and he and I have kind of developed a pretty good friendship over the last couple of years. Focused mostly on us trying to get a certain supervisor fired because he's an abusive prick. But one of the things that I had learned about this guy is it had been years since he had been with a woman, and not necessarily because he took the MGTOW route. Actually, quite the opposite. He wanted to experience the joys of being with a woman, as it were. And so back around the beginning of November, it might even have been a little bit before that. He started He started connecting with someone on a Facebook group. It's one of those dating pages where people can have an opportunity to talk and see if they want to try hooking up for whatever type of relationship. And as his friend, I wanted to support him, but also I wanted to keep an ear out if some sort of a red flag had come up. You're like, yeah, you might want to think about this. But so they eventually started having a relationship, and it quickly turned sexual. And while I'm happy, while I was happy for the guy for finally having his pee-pee touched, at the same time, I'm thinking, dude, you have told me that she's a single mother of three, and all of them have different fathers. Are you trying to be number 4? And so he'd be like, well, she said that she had her tubes tied. She's been fixed. She can't get pregnant anymore. Okay, assuming that she's not lying, a woman can still get pregnant from that kind of thing. I mean, the newest stats that I had seen, which to say new is pretty inaccurate because this was like 2008, somewhere around there. About 1 in every 200, maybe 1 in every 250 of these tube tying procedures don't work. In fact, I know someone who it didn't work for her. And she was someone that the state ordered to get her tubes tied because she was such a terrible mother. But so anyways, they're continuing to have some fun, and it lasts for about a month. He gets to meet the kids, and hearing all of their stories, it's like, oh my gosh, how could you not see these as a red flag? Her oldest was a 15-year-old girl. She actually lived with dad down in Central Oregon somewhere. I don't remember where exactly. She, at the age of 15, had decided that she wanted to transition into a boy. Make of that as you will. But shortly after mommy started dating my coworker, she moved up north to where mom lives here in Southwest Washington. So now she has custody of all 3 of her kids again. Child number 2 is an 11-year-old girl. Never met her father because supposedly he's in jail for whatever. And child number 3 is a 4-year-old boy who is somewhere on the autism spectrum. Make of that what you will. But when I heard that, I'm thinking, okay, so he's probably a little shit and doesn't realize it, and I'm willing to bet mommy makes it worse by not doing anything resembling discipline. And holy shit, was I right. Anytime he got upset, he got to play on their Xbox or whatever game console they had, even if one of his sisters was playing. Did not matter. His interest was number one. Fuck the rest of the kids. So at first, she's wanting my coworker to possibly be a father figure for them. And he was so into her. He was totally cool with it, which I will say this. He had expressed before to me many times before he ever met this woman that he wants to be a father. And with him being almost 50, he believes that he's probably never going to have his own children. So if he ever does become a father, it will most likely be as a stepfather type of a thing. And I'm like, well, I can understand that. At the same time, that's a really tough thing to take on. I mean, you've got to assume that, first of all, those kids are even going to want to be anywhere near you. And second off, you'd better hope to God that their father, or fathers in this case, isn't some violent psychopath who's going to kill you. Well, as it turns out, one of them actually reached out to him and was basically warning him, hey, you might want to get tested. She's kind of a loosey-goosey, if you know what I mean. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. And so, of course, at first my coworker's like, whatever, I think this guy's just jealous. I think he's just trying to whatever. And I'm like, well, he may be onto something, though. Even if he does hate your guts, the fact that he's making that type of a claim, you might want to take it seriously. Because what if that's the entire reason why the relationship failed? You only know about the end of their relationships based off of what she said. And if you know anything about women, they will lie. They're not exactly perfect angels. They're fellow human beings. Every human being lies. That was one of my favorite lessons that I learned from that TV show, House. Everyone lies. It's just a matter of what are they willing to lie about. So Thanksgiving comes along, and their original plan was she just wanted to have her own small little Thanksgiving thing with her kids. And he wanted to stay here in town where we live, just him and his mom. He lives with his mother, which in this case is understandable. She's like 73 and can't really do much of anything at all. So it's basically like he's now in charge. He's now taking care of her, kind of a thing. Which I think is totally fine. I understand. There's probably going to be a good chance that I'm going to be doing that with my mother when she gets to that age. Yeah. Yuck. So, she eventually reaches out to him and be like, hey, I've changed my mind. How about if you come up here for Thanksgiving with us? So he's like, okay, fine. It'll be a great opportunity for us to interact, to hang out. And he wasn't even thinking about it from a sexual aspect. He was just thinking, let's just spend time together. Nope. The entire time, it was her spending time with the kids. And the closest thing to interacting that they did was she would ask him to entertain her children while she took care of the little boy. So he felt that she wasn't taking anything in their relationship seriously. It's like, I drove all this way for nothing. Which I kind of skipped over some other details. At one point in their relationship, she had said, I have gas money issues. I cannot afford to drive down where you live. Which, by the way, they're about 40 miles away. She lives in a city about 40 miles away from here. So it's quite a bit of driving to get to and from each other's places. But she's putting it all on him. If you want to see me, you have to pay for yourself to come up here because I'm not doing it. I can't afford it. But yet I can somehow magically afford to pay for marijuana and other drug-related paraphernalia for myself and for my 11-year-old kid who I don't care if she smokes pot in my house. And it's like just more and more things are being tackled on to where it's definitely feeling like a one-sided relationship. He gives all, she gives jack shit. Nothing's going to be happening. So I told him I totally understood why it was that he decided to call it the relationship. He ended it then and there because it's like there's no point to it. What am I getting from it? Now, what I don't agree with him on is how he went about doing it. Because now he's given off this impression that he never was the good guy. He's an asshole, just like all these other guys that she's ever been with. He's feeding into this whole delusion that there are no good men. He ghosted her. He just flat out stopped going, cut off all ties of communication, at least with him specifically. Apparently, she was still able to contact his mother via Facebook. So there was an opportunity for a little bit of stalking going on. But, she ended up talking all this mad shit on Facebook about how, he's nothing, all men are nothing, even when they claim to be good guys, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you probably should have told her that you were calling things off. Okay, so I like him, but he has this really bad tendency of giving up way too easily and expecting everyone to just magically realize what's going on. People don't fucking work that way. If you're going to end a relationship, you need to let them know what's going on. Or at the very least, leave a note or something. You can't just cut off all ties. He's done that kind of shit with me before, too. In fact, actually, this last weekend, our Friday night shift, he just fucking left in the middle of the shift. So he was working on the administration building. I was working on the athletic building. And for whatever reason, he just fucking left. I have a couple of theories as to why. Originally, I thought that it was because maybe he had hurt himself. Because the last that I knew, he was using a back vac. One of those vacuum cleaners that you attach to your back. And sometimes it kind of hurts him a little bit. So I was thinking maybe it was that. But considering that he said absolutely nothing to me, I'm kind of thinking that maybe he's pissed off at me because I decided to focus on the athletic building because, good God, it needed it. So he can be a very petty little bitch, if I'm to be entirely honest. I still consider him to be a friend. He's a good guy when he's not acting like a woman. But he was definitely acting like a woman in this case. So as far as that goes, I think the single mother actually had a good point. He left a bad taste in her mouth. As opposed to what he usually did. But so yeah, that's basically the story. He learned the hard way that dating a single mother, especially a single mother of multiple children, can be a real pain in the ass. Especially since, as he had pointed out, he's not allowed to say anything when the kids are doing something that they're not supposed to. Oh, which I forgot to mention the exact story that led to him making this decision. The exact thing was she was sending him private messages on Facebook Messenger, basically saying, hey, my 11-year-old kid, for reasons that I don't know, got into an argument with me, and because I'm a stupid woman, I let her beat me. Yeah, the 11-year-old actually got physically violent with her mother, at least according to what she was saying. And I don't know what to do. So what do you think my coworker did? The thing that most of us men would do, and that is to offer ideas on what maybe she could consider doing to help remedy the situation. Because we're men. We like to fix shit. We hear about a problem. We think of solutions. That's the way we are. Oh, no. That's not what she wanted. She just wanted to vent to someone. It's like, he's not your therapist, lady. You want to vent to someone, get a girlfriend, and go and get a cup of coffee. Your boyfriend is not supposed to be the person you vent to just for the sake of venting. It's ridiculous. So I was like, you know what? I think you did the right thing. She doesn't want to hear your inputs. She just wants you to hear her bitch. That's it. So I had made the mistake shortly after this of explaining to my mom what was going on. You know, because I told her and I told my son, hey, my coworker has finally gotten himself a girlfriend. Yay for him. So I kind of felt like I kind of needed to update them on what's been going on. And immediately she took the single mother side. Probably because she's been experienced as a single mother many times before, but she was like, well, he needs to understand that a woman just needs to vent sometimes. And I'm like, and she needs to understand that if that's the intent, she should probably say that beforehand. Because we men don't think that way. We men like to fix things. You got a problem, we will want to fix it, especially if we have any sort of liking towards you, let alone love. Oh, but if he really loves her, he'll stick with it. I'm like, there's no logical reason for a man to stick with abuse. And I'm sorry, I saw this, the way that she's been treating him over the last couple of weeks of their relationship, this included, as being abusive. She's not willing to try to meet him halfway. She's not willing to let him lead as a man ought to on any sort of level. I understand certain restrictions because I've only been dating for like about a month. But at the same time, you got to at least try to show that you want this to be something more than just a couple of adults fucking. So I think my mom kind of eventually started to see where I was going with this. It's not just a matter of if he loves her, blah, blah, blah. It's also if she loves him, blah, 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 blah. And she wasn't doing any of that, blah, blah, blah. At least my coworker was trying. But you can only take so much. What is it that RPM says? You can only take so much abuse. Yeah, well, that was his limit. He didn't go hockey mask time, but he certainly ended it. Either way. Yum. So yeah, that's the story of my coworker. I actually kind of wonder how he's doing, to be honest. I gotta figure that out when I go into work tonight. Let's see here. Women asking for advice get, I'll offer other solutions and you won't even try to do any of them. Okay, I don't think I should probably do that. So I am not interested in you using me as an emotional tampon. Yeah, absolutely. That's not what we're here for. Absolutely not. Absolute knowledge seekers. Rusty told me this thing was going down. Yes, it is. I'm not sure exactly which thing he told you, but this is my debut stream, mostly as an experiment. I think I'm doing okay. Maybe. Alrighty, so I guess really the only things that I have left are the comic book idea. Or not the idea, but oh shit, D-Man's here. Hello there, brother. How's it going? Hey, D, do you want a wrench? I learned how to do the wrenches, so I can give you one. So I guess really all that's left is the story about my ex recently having a pregnancy scare where she thought she was pregnant, or I can talk to you guys about the comic book class that I've been taking. Like I can show you the decent comic that I read, as well as my comic idea that I want to do. Yeah, I guess that's something else I could do is my comic plan that I'm doing because it's MGTOW related. So, oh, hey, look at this. Ghost Shura. Did I click on that right? What? Oh, there we go. There we go. You should do a story a week. You know, I'm actually kind of thinking about that. Doing regular streams like once a week kind of a thing. It'll probably be a while before I get into that. I definitely want to look at getting a better computer. I'm doing this off of a laptop that's about 1.5 years old. I will admit I have not taken that good care of it. But yeah, I want to get a PC that's designed to kick ass, at least for a little while. So, oh, Ghost Shura, MGTOW Comics Inc. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll just share the comic idea that I'm thinking about doing for my class project. So, excuse me. As far as an assignment goes, basically I have to write the script for a comic that will be at least 8 pages in length. Which, by the way that this whole thing is graded, the most that I will get in this class is a B, unless that final comic project that I do, if instead of it being 8 pages, it's at least 12. That will make it an A class. So I am making plans for it to be a 12-page comic. And the funny thing is, I've been working on how I want to do this. I could see this being a 12-issue comic. I'm sure that y'all, especially if you're someone who had seen Turd Flinging Monkey for many years. There was something that he did even when he was here on YouTube, where he took the Kubler-Ross stages of grief, and he had slightly modified it to give it a little bit more of a MGTOW flair. My comic is designed to basically to parallel that, to show the kind of shit that men go through when it comes to divorce, basically. It's going to be following a guy named Adam Mann. Yes, I decided to make it obvious as to who he is, the stereotypical guy. He's going to be married. He's got 3 kids. In fact, have you guys heard the story a couple years ago of this British guy who found out that he had some type of a medical problem? I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was cystic fibrosia, I think. But in any case, it was something that made him infertile. And after that, he found out that all 3 of his sons, who at the time of the story were all in their 20s, none of them were his. So I'm doing a story that's kind of like that. I'm making some obvious differences. But basically, Adam, he'll still be married. One of his kids came up with the idea of, hey, let's do that 23andMe thing, because it'd be kind of fun to see what our ancestry is like. And they're going to figure out that not only are the 3 kids that their ancestry has nothing to do with dad, like dad is going to have similar ancestry to me. He's going to be very heavily English, very heavily Scottish, very heavily German. None of the 3 kids are going to have those at all. So they're going to be like, what the fuck is this? How is it that I'm a quarter Ukrainian when neither of you 2 have Ukrainian in you at all? Kind of a thing. In fact, I'm thinking about using Ukrainian specifically just because of the shit going on in the world today. But so the first stage is denial. So he's going to obviously he's going to be doubtful as to the accuracy of the test. You know, there's no way that this could be the case. My wife is a loving woman who would never, ever cheat on me. Oh, she's telling me that she's been a cheating whore since day 1 of the relationship, but kept me around because I'm a good guy. You know, just hearing more and more of just how unfaithful she is from her own mouth. I'm thinking about having her just like actually openly admitting to it afterwards when she realizes, well, I've been caught. I might as well as confess to everything. The next stage is anger. So what I was thinking about doing in this case is it'd be like about a month later. He's moved out on his own, like one of those shitty bachelor apartments, you know, one of those stereotypical places. He's going to get drunk. He's going to be pissed off. He's going to blame her. I'm debating on if I want to include something about blaming all women, mostly because this is a community college class. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm being pro woman hate kind of a thing. You know, the point of the comic is not supposed to be spreading misogyny. It's supposed to be about showing a man's anguish. So I don't know if I want to include that part or not. But he's definitely going to be mad at her. And the next stage is depression. And so what I'm thinking about doing for that part is it's going to be quick. He's basically going to attempt to kill himself. And I was thinking, I don't want to do a gun because that's cliche. And as someone who's very pro Second Amendment, I don't want to do anything that might come off as being, you know, anti Second Amendment. So I was thinking about having him try to hang himself. And the story would be that because he's so drunk and pissed off, when he thinks that he ties the knots, he has a really poor job. So instead of actually him dangling there, he's just going to plop to the floor and fall asleep in a drunken stupor. The next stage is bargaining. So what I'm thinking about doing for that is, okay, so during his depression stage, one of the images that you're going to see is that he's going to leave. Oh, he sent a text message to a friend of his. And so when we get to the bargaining stage, he's talking with that very friend. That friend came over, and I'm also going to have that friend come over with a friend of his, which, by the way, since it's this particular circle of YouTubers, I'm going to go ahead and share you guys. The friend is basically going to be a parody of Hammerhand. And the friend that Hammerhand brings is going to be a parody of Sir Yeetus. And they're basically going to be talking to this guy, Adam, in the hospital about, hey, look, you got off lucky. We're here for you as a friend. And as in the case of Sir Yeetus' character, I was thinking it'd be kind of funny if he's a divorce lawyer who represents men and specializes in that. So they're basically going to try and talk to the guy and be like, hey, look, it's not over for you. Don't end it. Embrace life and look to better yourself. There's not a whole lot you can do about her. Just focus on you. Just basically give him the prep talk that sometimes guys need. And the very last stage is acceptance. So what I was thinking about doing for that is it taking place a few years later on. He's talking about how happy he is that he took Hammerhand's advice. And I'm even thinking about including this scene to where one of his kids, who was the oldest one and the only one that was a girl, she still had him walk her down the aisle because to her, that is daddy. So I'm thinking about having it include to where all three of the kids, even though knowing the truth, they still see him as dad. And I'm even thinking about including a part to where at least one of the kids, I don't know which one yet, but at least one of the kids no longer talks with mom. Because it was mom who betrayed dad, and it was mom who betrayed them. So that's kind of the idea that I have going with this. Definitely sounds like D-Man is liking the idea of this comic. Something else that's kind of neat about this is it's being taught by one of the two teachers who oversees this annual comic book collection that's done by various students and it's sometimes faculty members as well of this college. I don't know if I should say the name of it because I don't want to give too much details as to where I work. But we were told that there's a good chance that our stories that we're doing for this class, because there's a similar in the same time period for people who are wanting to work on the art aspect, the visuals, the illustrations of comics. In fact, at least two of the people in my class are in that class as well. So some people are learning about both aspects. But basically, there's going to be people who are going to be illustrating our stories for us, which I think is freaking amazing. What's really kind of funny is my class, including me, there's 12 of us. in the illustration class, there's well over 20. So there's a very good likelihood that I'll be having 2 different people doing their own versions of my story. I mean, they still have to keep things kind of along how I'm doing it, because I'm the one who's writing the damn story itself. They're basically just putting visuals to what I say is happening, which is neat. I'm the one calling the shots. But yeah, I think it'll be kind of interesting, especially if at least one of those 2 gets put in this book. And once that happens, I'm actually kind of thinking about doing a stream right here of showing you guys what happens in my story. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think you guys would like to see it. I may not even do like a special shout out to Hammerhand and Sir Yees to be like, hey, here are the characters that I did as a representation of you guys, because I know you guys are, you know, really significant to those of us in this particular circle. So yeah, I think it'd be great. D-Man, sounds like you agree. Michelle, sounds like you agree as well. Sorry, my throat's starting to get a little bit dry, so. Yes, Rusty, Hammer and Yeetus, absolutely. So I will admit I do not have name ideas for the wife or the 3 kids yet. The main character, his name is going to be Adam Man, because he's supposed to represent men in general. The Hammerhand character, I honestly think the name is kind of dorky, but I did it for a reason, which is his name is Monty Hammond. So Monty to represent the monk mode of MGTOW kind of thing, and Hammond because hammer, hand, Hammond sounds kind of like. And in the case of Sir Yeetus, the Yeetus part I replaced with Yates. I figured that would be obvious to go with. And as far as the Sir part, I wanted it to be a black sounding name because he is black, and with this being a community college, again, you got to have diversity involved in it. Everyone can't be white. Blah, blah, blah. So, all right, cool. I'll have one of the coolest characters in the comic be a black guy that I respect, and his name's going to be Saren. So, oh, hey, here we go. Ghost Sure's got an idea. Karen. Yeah, Karen. I like that. You know what, Ghost? I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that in my notes. Her name's going to be Karen. Karen, wife. Yes. Love it. So, getting close to an hour and a half. Do you guys want me to go ahead and share one of my other stories? The comic from the class, the one about my ex having a pregnancy scare, or should we just go ahead and end it here? I'll leave that up to you guys. Go over the comic, talk about my ex, or end it. Call the wife Nagy. I know you're doing better. Karen Nagy. Okay, cubing speed. A short one is welcome. Well, if I'm going to go with something short, I should probably go ahead and share the story about my ex then. So, Ghost Shura, you bring up an interesting point. Your ex is an ex, not your problem. Normally, I would agree with that, but the thing is she and I have a child together, so what this particular problem is could have impacted me as a result of it impacting him. That's the only reason why I care. In fact, that's the only reason I'm even still in contact with her. If we never had a kid together, I probably would have blocked her years ago. So, I would say about 3 months ago, around the same time that my friend was getting his pee-pee touched by the single mother, my ex had started actually dating someone that she had known online. She's a gamer, so she knows a lot of people online, and these two actually started quote unquote dating since he lives in Oregon. He lives in Central Oregon. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with Oregon geography, but he lives not too far from a town called Bend. And they started actually, quote unquote, dating, which at first meant that he would come up here, well, up to where she lives. She doesn't live in the same town as I do anymore. He would go to her town. They would hump like rabbits and leave, basically. So after a few weeks of them doing this kind of thing, she decides to call me. Which this is how I knew that she had a new boyfriend, by the way. Hey, Whiskey, I might be pregnant. You are not pinning this baby on me. I don't even remember the last time you and I have done that kind of thing, but it was long enough. No, but she kind of told me a little bit about the details about how she and this guy were having fun. And as I'm learning more and more about this guy, oh, isn't that in the Soviet Union? No, just Portland is in the Soviet Union. The rest of the state's actually pretty conservative, pretty American-like. Although this kid is not one of those. He definitely belongs in Portland as far as I'm concerned. And I'm calling him kid for a specific reason. So she's telling me a little bit about this guy. Like with most leftist nerds, he doesn't go by his birth name. He goes by a nickname. It's one that he feels represents his Native American lineage, which, looking at the kid, he's probably about as Native American as Elizabeth Warren. So, but then again, maybe he's got some in him. My ex is like 1/16 Native American, and she looks whiter than I do. Ghost Shura, I believe Oregon is near California. Yes, actually, California's north border is with Oregon. So, and she's telling me more and more about the guy, which I'd only met him once at this point. Okay, so she is going to be turning 37 next month. He is 27. 9-10 years older than him. And this is what he's able to get. A 240-pound single mother who is so irresponsible that she doesn't have custody of her kid. My son has spent half of his life living with me and my mother because of decisions that she has made. So wow, I thought I was over that cough, but I guess not. That's one way to look at it. The type of predator that I would say is the S version predator. Absolutely. Because it seems like every chance that she gets, she'll pounce on a new boyfriend opportunity. Like, since the time that she and I had broken up, there was a time where she had, at the very least, that I knew of, 5 sex partners, one of which was a woman. And I'm using the term woman loosely because she was in the process of transitioning into a guy. After all, this is the Portland area, so that kind of thing is somewhat normal here, unfortunately. But I stopped counting after that point. So, like, if I absolutely had to guess, she's probably had at least 3 other partners since I gave up counting. So we're talking at least 8, to my knowledge, with this kid being number 8. So, yes, I did say 240 pounds. She is a big girl. She wasn't always. In fact, when I first met her, she barely weighed over 100. She was like 100, maybe 110. But over the years, she kind of started to balloon up. I think a lot of it had to do with her really being into smoking and not taking care of herself, and the majority of her diet being, mac and cheese and other cheap processed crap. Anytime that there was any actual food that was in the house that actually involved cooking skills, 9 times out of 10, I'm the one who prepared it. Yes, she was 110 when she and I first knew each other. And I'm kind of guesstimating on that because during that time period, we didn't talk about her weight. You should gift her a shake weight. That'd be funny. I don't know how much she would use it, to be entirely honest. Like I said, she's a very, very lazy individual. But so when she made that call to me saying, "Hey, I think I might be pregnant because I missed this, blah, 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 blah," in my head, I'm thinking, you are such an idiot. Why would you even give yourself an opportunity for this to happen? I mean, I get it. You like to experience a man with you, even though your taste in men is usually kind of sus. Like of all the guys that she's been with, I've met most of them, and with the exception of one person, I'm probably the manliest man that she's been with. Most of them were the fat, lazy soy boy, probably never met his father type of a guy. And it showed, weak, borderline effeminate. In fact, one of them, I was actually friends with this guy too. And the last conversation that he and I had, it was over Facebook, and he blocked me over it. Basically, I said that Ellen Page was not an inspiration. She was not an inspiration. She was not brave for coming out as being transgender. I was like, she's a Hollywood elitist surrounded by the very people who are trying to push this message. She is very sheltered and protected. There's nothing brave about what she's doing. You want to talk about bravery? Let's talk about the average person here in Portland who may or may not be going through a similar situation, except that they're surrounded by parents who are going to kick them out of the house for even entertaining the idea. I decided to kind of play along with the leftist paranoia of right-wing parents who actually have a good head on their shoulders. Because for some reason, a lot of these people seem to think that if your kid is in the LGBT anything at all in any sort of form, they're automatically going to get the boot. They're automatically going to be banned for life. My ex thought that, when she and I were still together, she'd be like, "What if our son is gay?" I'm like, then I'll tell him the same thing I'll tell him if he's straight. Don't be a whore. And then we'll go fishing. That's kind of my viewpoint on it. It's like, once you're an adult, who you decide to boff is entirely on you. I just hope that once he gets to that point, I will have raised him well enough to where he'll be responsible with his genitals. I care more about that, which was kind of technically a lie. Oh, look, my mom is calling me. Oh, you can wait. So yeah, for reasons that I don't understand, he ended up moving up to this area to move in with her, which she lived with her mom. That didn't last for very long because apparently, and I'm not entirely sure on the exact details because at this point I'm like, I don't want to know about it. This is your bullshit. Keep it in your family. Which was basically my ex was saying, well, my mom's not taking her brain meds, so she's acting like a psycho. And her mom would also contact me saying she and her boyfriend are not keeping their end of the bargain. They were supposed to be helping out with certain chores. They were supposed to be helping me move stuff. They're not doing jack. So at some point, they decided to leave where they lived, which is in the Portland area, and moved down to the small town that he was from in Central Oregon. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this means we're going to have to figure out what to do for visitation purposes. I have custody, so which is great. I mean, I love that I have custody, not just because he's going to be surrounded by the better parent, but also because I freaking love my kid. I don't think I'd be able to stomach the idea of not seeing my child for a lengthy amount of time. I love my kid too damn much. But apparently, and I only just found out about this yesterday, she was down there for less than a week before his mom starts giving her crap for not having a job. It's like she's only been there for a couple of days. She told me that she was looking for a job, because they were going to have to work at some point, and she's already getting crap like this. So his mom was threatening to buy a train ticket to have her be shipped back up here, to which my ex was like, shut up, I'm going to call my dad. So she contacted her father, which this guy is a cuck. When I was first dating her, she made it sound like this guy was like a tough, badass kind of a guy. No, he's a spineless cuck. But he basically paid for her to have a hotel room for one night. And he would come down there the next day to pick her up. So that's what ended up happening. She is currently living, again, with her mom. They've worked out their differences. Although the place still looks like shit. That's how I'm learning about this information. I dropped my son off there yesterday so she could have visitation. This is going on longer than I planned. But, so yeah, it's, my ex is a failure of a parent. At least she's trying to an extent. And, oh, hey, look at that. I'm actually paying attention now. That was a good meal. I stepped out for a bit, rejoining now. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed whatever your meal was, brother. I actually ate a little something before streaming. Honestly, it was kind of gross. So I'm kind of thinking about getting something to eat after I'm done with this. Fuck, maybe I'll just make a sandwich. Actually, now that I think about it, I think that's what I'll do. I still got some turkey meat in the fridge. I'll just make a sandwich out of that. But, oh shit, we don't have any bread. Fuck it, I'll just eat the turkey. But, yes, Rusty, absolutely. Get a job. I would absolutely love it if my ex got a job and she kept it for more than 6 months. But, yeah, so I had asked, is your relationship over? Are you still dating him? What's going on with that aspect? And I guess technically they are still dating, but the plan is that he is going to move back up here at some point, and they're going to try and get an apartment together. She currently lives in an apartment complex with her mom, and oh, hang on a second. What are you saying, Cubing? Whiskey stills are scientifically amazing. Yes, they are. Well said, brother. But yeah, so from what I understand, the plan is she and him are going to try to get a 2-bedroom or maybe even a 3-bedroom apartment there on the complex, and they'll just move into that. That way my son will also have a better room for himself to sleep in, kind of thing. Because as of now, the sleeping arrangements are, it's just a 1-bedroom. Grandma sleeps in the living room. Her mom sleeps in the bedroom. And when my son is over, they share a bed together. Which 5 years ago would not have been that big of a deal because my son would have been 5. He's 10 now. I don't like it when he shares a bed with me. Sharing a bed with his mom, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Especially since her family has had a certain history involving a grandfather who I hope to God is being sodomized by Satan right now as we speak. Yeah, she had one of those in her history. So I don't think she's going to do anything to my son. I hope to God she doesn't. She hasn't so far, but it's getting to a point now to where he's old enough. He should be sleeping in his own bed. And if he has to share a bed with a parent, it makes more sense for it to be with dad instead of mom. Like if we were out in a hotel somewhere at a con or fishing trip or something like that, and there's only one bed, it would make sense. But sorry, it's it's kind of getting to a point where I'm almost getting pissed off. Oh, hey, yes. Tell her she's going camping and sleeping on the ground. That might help if they actually had a fucking floor. That house, it gets so thrashed, and there's so much shit in there. I'm surprised they're able to walk around and not break things. Of course, I don't really have a whole lot of room to speak. My house isn't all that much better. But then again, it's not my house. That's my mom's. But at least we can find the floor. All I have to do is go and look and be like, oh, there it is. It's blue. Blue carpet. Cheap carpet, too. I hate this shit. Alrighty, so we're getting closer and closer to 2 hours. From what I understand, because I haven't paid for anything, I have a 2-hour limit, and unfortunately, this isn't going to be saved here on StreamYards. I don't know if that means it's going to be saved here on YouTube. I do know, however, that this stream is only on YouTube. It's not on Odysee or BitChute or MGTOW TV. But it sounds like I can get those added on once I actually pay for a membership. But yes, Ghost Shura, they are definitely hoarders. Absolutely. It's one of the very few things that they have in common with my mom. My mom is a hoarder, something fierce. So, well, I think I will go ahead and end it here, guys. Yeah, I hope it's saved on YouTube. If not, it's not that big of a deal. Especially since I do want to do more of these at some point. It's probably not going to be a weekly thing, at least not anytime soon. And I will say this, there's probably going to be a chance at some point. My son's going to be involved with these. I don't necessarily object to that. It will... I will have to change some of the things that we talk about. So, Alienated TV. I'm pretty sure I've seen you before. Welcome. I got to John's stream just as it ended, then saw this. Now it's also over. Lol. I'm sorry. If I had a paid membership, I would have no problem with going on for another hour, but I have to cap it off at about 2 hours. So, but hey, maybe next time. I gotta think. I know I won't be able to do it next Monday. It's gonna be really busy next Monday, so I will probably get back to posting things on a somewhat regular basis. You know, these little shorts that I do. I took a gap mainly because I really had to focus on my schoolwork. I don't want to be late for any of my assignments. I want to have a kick-ass grade. I want to get an A. So, in fact, actually, my GPA at the college for all the years that I've gone back and forth, I'm at exactly a 3.0. So, if I get an A in this class, I'll finally be above a 3.0 once again. Yay. Alrighty. Well, in the meantime, guys, I will keep y'all updated, hopefully at some point. Afternoon, y'all. Hey, Riggs. How's it going? Sorry, I'm about ready to bounce on out of here. So in the meantime, I'll be looking for other things to share with you guys. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk with you guys about the comic that I had to read for class. There's supposed to be a few others that we're supposed to do. In fact, I have one that I'm supposed to have read by tomorrow. It's called, what was it called? I think it's called Saga. So I do know that some of the people in my class, when they heard that, they were like, "Oh my gosh, I love that one." It's like, all right, cool. When are we going to do a comic that I've actually heard of? So, all righty. Well, thank you all for showing up. I'm seeing that there's 11 of you in here. Not going to lie, that's about double what I expected. So, thank you all. Love you guys. And never forget that if you abuse alcohol, it will abuse you back. Take care, brothers.